Sweet. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to your favorite podcast, episode of The Why here. Sitting down with Mr. Pete Peterson, owner of Dream Huge Realty, bodybuilder, as we've seen on the gold interwebs. God,
Dream Huge, baby.
He's huge, that's for sure. And super excited to get into our conversation with him today. So, Pete, give me the elevator pitch. Give me the couple minutes here just to kind of introduce yourself to the audience and all that good stuff.
Yeah, sure. Thank you for having me, Dylan. Super excited. So one of many things that I do is the owner of Dream Huge Realty, like you mentioned, and bodybuilding, sure. Family man, very happy, proud family man. Married to my wife of Lisa, beautiful wife, coming up on 22 years.
22 years,
yeah,
bro?
Man. Yeah.
You don't look like you've been married for 22 years.
I know, man. She's keeping me young. Two awesome boys. That's first and foremost. Family. And creating financial independence. So we're going to get into that.
Yeah.
So with the real estate brokerage, that is what I'm known for, but it's really an accessory piece.
Of course.
My main thing is a real estate investor.
Yeah.
That's first and foremost. And not only for me, but for all of the agents at Dream Huge. I preach that. I start every meeting with, okay, everybody, first I say thank you. I always thank them because I'm very thankful for everything they do on a day-to-day basis. Not only them, but their families, their support systems. Being a real estate agent is a 24/7 job for the entire family.
It is, man.
But
there's a lot of people that aren't very successful at it.
Right.
I mean, there's a lot of people that's a part-time, there has to be a part-time gig for them.
Right. Yeah, no, it's a lot. And it gives you what you give it. But I start every meeting by thanking them and their families. But then I go right into first and foremost, at Dream Huge Realty, you will be a real estate investor. And that is because that buys you financial freedom eventually for yourself and your family.
Yeah.
A real estate agent, let's be real, is a job, like we just talked about.
It's a JOB, man.
It's a JOB, nights and weekends, and you can only have one JOB.
That's right.
But you can own multiple businesses.
Exactly.
And you can have multiple rental properties, investment properties. And the more businesses you have, the more properties you have, essentially, is the more people you are helping.
Exactly.
And that's what it all comes down to, right? So the more people I can help, the more money I can make.
The more pluses I can be in someone's life than minuses, right?
That's right.
That's the goal at the end of the day.
So we focus on being real estate investors first to create financial freedom for ourselves and our families, because that's our duty, is to be successful for our families. They're counting on us.
Yeah.
So we do that, like I said, by investing in real estate. So that is essentially what we do in the mindset in a nutshell, and that is what truly sets Dream Huge apart from other brokerages, and I think is why you are seeing us grow so quickly. Because the traditional brokerage is, hey, come work for us. Come work for us.
Work.
Yeah. You're going to buy and sell real estate until the day you die.
So it sounds like you guys are big on the education component as well.
Yeah, it's huge on the education today, and I'm running to a meeting after this with the team. And our Thursday meetings is strictly motivated mindset and real estate investing. I want to educate we got a young team too. So they come in fresh, they come in unaware, they come in just wanting to cash those commission checks. So first we change their mindset to, hey, you need to start thinking about how can I help people, not how can I make money.
How can I serve?
How can I serve? How can I serve the client better? I think it should be important to not only me but everyone. I mean, it cracks me up when high school seniors are looking for a job. So what are you going to do? What's your job going to be? Well, your job, remember, is your goal in that job is to create passive income, which surpasses your active income.
Of course.
And then once you can do that, you buy your time back.
Yeah, buying the time back. Like, if you read this book by Dan Martell called "Buy Back Your Time."
Okay, perfect.
Have you read it?
Yes, I have not.
I might have it. I don't. I was gonna give you a copy, man.
Yeah.
Grab a copy of it on the Audible. It's phenomenal.
Yeah.
But it literally talks about that. Like, how do we create little centers within ourselves to get that back?
Yeah.
I guess my big question is, like, what sparked that for you?
My family. You know, I grew up in an entrepreneurial family, and I still own the family business, which was
Interstate,
the original business was Interstate Batteries. Yeah, my dad and mom were entrepreneurs from the start, and they were firm believers in, hey, the harder we work, the more people we help, the more money we're going to make for us and our family, right? So they took it upon themselves to be independent entrepreneurs and always put the emphasis on their decisions.
Yeah.
You know, it's up to them and only them. It's extreme accountability. So I learned that from them, and we carried that, and that's a great business and still growing to this day. And we still run that, but they instilled that in me, and then I saw this statistic. The Social Security Administration did a study of all retirees, and only 4% retire financially secure. 4%.
Which is why you see a lot of people working at Walmart.
Yes, and only 1% retires wealthy. Most either die before retirement, so we better have fun doing it because we might not even make it.
You better
there.
have a good time, baby. I agree.
Yeah, a lot still have to work, not because they want to, because they have to, and a lot are going to end up just broke.
Yeah.
And worse than broke, negative.
Yeah.
You
When
know,
you get the reverse mortgages and all that crap.
Yeah.
You in the real estate world know all about that all too well, I'm sure.
So when I seen that statistic, I got it hanging on the fridge at the office. It's not only my mindset, it's the agent's mindset too. Anybody that says, oh, I just want to live comfortably, I just want to make enough to pay the bills, that's a failing formula.
Yeah.
You know, that's setting yourself up. That's a recipe for disaster because things happen in the market, COVID happens, uncontrollable things happens. Control what you can control. Live by that statistic that says only 5% of us are going to do okay financially. And that's why you have to put the foot on the gas and never ever let up.
Especially when you're in the prime age for making money.
Right.
When your body's still healthy and
right.
you know all that good stuff. So how do you, I'm curious now because I think that what you've got over there at Dream Huge, I follow you guys. I know John Pavlansky is friends with, is that how you say his last name?
Yes.
Okay.
You got to get him on.
Yeah, I know.
He said that you guys talked back and forth a little bit.
Yeah, we need to get him on.
A really good one.
He went to high school with my brother, Caden.
Okay.
But I think that all of us as leaders and business owners want what you guys have over there, which is that almost culty like. And I don't want to say that in a negative context.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, we all want Johnstown, dude. We all want people to go be willing to freaking believe there's aliens coming. And, you know, we don't want that to the degree that people follow us to that. But, because we want people to buck the system a little bit, too, and show us when things are wrong. How have you done a good job with that in your business?
I don't know. To me, it's just, again, it's a genuine desire to help others.
Okay.
And at the end of the day, too, as I'm getting older, too, it's like, what's my legacy going to be?
Yeah.
A sports car?
Exactly.
2, 3, 4? Why? You know, why not help others? And
that's the only way to pass it on.
Why not have the whole entire team have sports cars?
Yeah.
You know, that's baller status.
No, you're exactly right, man. Because at the end of the day, I'm a builder. I'm a people builder by trade.
Yeah.
Like, I would much rather see you be successful than me be successful.
Correct.
And I don't mean that negatively. Like, my rewards are coming later as a business owner.
Right.
And I'm cool with that.
Right.
Like, I'll get my fruits.
Sure. People don't understand. We take a haircut to open a business.
Bro. There are so many people in this office that make more than me.
Right.
Like, and I don't mean that bad.
Right.
It's a win for me.
For sure.
Because my heart's in the right place.
Right.
We were just talking about that on the last episode. As a business owner, you have to be willing to do that. Yeah. Because otherwise, like, if you're coming in with the context of, I'm going to make $250,000 a year right off the rip, you're going to rob Peter to pay Paul in order to do it and sacrifice things away from your business.
Yes. Yeah, there will be sacrifices. You know, relationships will be sacrificed because of that.
You're going to push people out.
Yes. Yep. So,
so you started a business after you had a family. I started a business before I had a family. Mm-hmm. So I'm interested. How did you keep that family dynamic in check when you got? Because I'm sure there were probably at the beginning, especially there was probably a moment of struggle. Right?
Well, we've always had the family business. So even Interstate was family business, family owned, and I ran that for 10 years before I even owned it. and I ran the checkbook, everything.
You knew it all.
When I took ownership, I changed nothing. And so I think that was a big mindset thing for me too, was like, I was never looking for the quick cash. How much money can I take out this month? It was more like, how can I pad the checkbook a little bit for those down months? You know, and I'm always
How can I make sure the bills stay paid, my people stay paid?
Reinvesting in the team, reinvesting in the building, reinvesting in the vehicles. And at the end of the day, I hate to tell you, business owners, but at the end of the day, hopefully there's something left for you.
Yeah, you have to hope for it.
Right.
You can plan for it too.
Right.
You can be strategic about it.
Right. So, that's it. But to tie that back to how did I work that around with the family and everything, Lisa, my wife, is amazing. And of course, mom and dad, and I keep going back to them, they set me up. But it's up to me, because I've seen family businesses fail too.
Well, they say second generation maintains it, third generation ruins it, right?
Well, yeah, probably. I could see that. So I said, I'm going to take it to the next level. So I started as a real estate investor. I started as a battery entrepreneur, really. Then, with Lisa on the same page, because Lisa is amazing. She is, she is so supportive of all the ideas and all the energy. And not only that, she gives me the consulting I need and helps me run everything.
My wife's the same way, man. You have to have that person at home.
Yeah.
That's just on the same. Like, there's a lot of guys out there that, like, man, I want to go run a business. But it's like, is all your stuff in check before? Like, you got your systems checked, kind of like a pilot, right?
Right.
You got enough fuel in the tank? Like, you, personally, do you have enough fuel in the tank? But also, do you have a good co-pilot in the other seat to make sure that they're able to catch you?
Are you guys on the same page?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Here's where I see businesses fail too. You get the guy, the entrepreneur, he's the idea guy.
The visionary.
Right, and he's got the energy and he's got the idea and it's awesome, but you know what he says?
Go do it.
No, he says, I can't stand doing paperwork.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, the accounting, it drives me nuts. That's the most important thing. So you got to be good at everything.
Yeah.
Especially when you're a small business. Sure, as you grow a little bit, you can...
You put pieces in place?
Right, you have to. But you have to be willing to be good at everything and take it all on and master everything.
Yeah. Or at least get pretty damn good at it.
Right, and that's why I succeed, because I am damn good at all those little pieces. You know?
Well, and it helps too when you go to coach somebody.
Right.
When you do hire that person, when you get the buffer to be able to put a person in place, because like Dr. John Maxwell says, you get them 80% of the way there, they're going to figure out the other 100, probably go 110. They're going to be better than you when it's all said and done because they're putting all their energy on it.
Right.
But in the beginning, man, you are marketing.
Yep.
You are sales. You are production. You are, you're everything. You're wearing all the hats. You're answering the phones. You're doing it.
Yep.
Right? And so you can afford that team, or you can justify it, right?
Yep.
So, yeah, I agree, man. You have to be, as an entrepreneur, like, you can't just be really good as a sales rep. You have to understand how the back end of the business works, too.
Right. Absolutely.
Because sales isn't the fix for everything.
Right.
Systems and processes are what's the fix for a lot of stuff.
Yeah, and it's so funny. Everybody just says, oh, Pete, just buy that. You can write it off.
Yeah, I know, man.
I'm like, guys, you have to make the money in order to write it off. I'm like, not just frivolous spending,
Just because the government gives you the opportunity to doesn't, like, the write-off only defers the tax.
Yeah.
Like, people don't understand. They don't.
Oh, and then you want to show your business doesn't make any money, so you don't have to pay any taxes. Well, guess what? When you go to the bank and you need a loan.
Yeah, now you're in a whole other can of worms.
And your business shows 0 or negative for the past 3 years.
They ain't giving you jack.
Right.
I wasn't into that guy.
Right.
I get it, man.
That's why everything we do and have for years, like you said, second generation. Dad started this business the day that I was born, or the year I was born, 1977. So we're coming up on, 50 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we've always kept everything on the up and up. You have to. Why would you work so hard to throw it away on something stupid?
Why did Dad pick batteries?
I
want to know that story a little bit.
Yeah, sure. He was a little bit into automotive. He was working at a Shell gas station after high school. So then he got a Shell franchise after that.
So he's had an entrepreneurial heart.
Yeah, him and Mom started with a little Shell, mom and pop, pumping gas, cleaning the windshields. It was a full service back then.
Yeah, back then especially.
And that was in Akron, Cuyahoga Falls area. And the battery guy from Interstate, which was Roland Crandall, who's still selling batteries in Akron,
That's hilarious, man.
stopped in and said he was servicing Dad's battery rack. And he said, well, you asked him talking about business and whatnot. You might be interested in the battery business. Why don't you take a ride and see what the route looks like and what we do? So he did, and he liked it, and they came down south here, and they bought for $10,000, bought a 13 county territory, which was a virgin territory at the time. So everybody thought Interstate was nuts, because their model was consignment. Yeah. We're going to set the batteries out for free, and we're going to come around and check on your rack once a month, or once a week, and we're going to charge you for what's missing. Everybody said, you're nuts, they'll get dirty, they'll get stolen, they'll get broken, you're crazy.
Yeah.
They went out on faith, and we grew dealers all over 13 counties.
So you guys are a distributor?
Yes.
Primarily.
So we sell to Joe's Garage, all the small mom and pops. We also do private labeling, national accounts for Toyota, Honda. All those batteries are coming from Interstate Distributor, and we label them as ordered.
That's cool, man.
Yeah, so there's really only 2 major battery manufacturers in the country.
Which makes, I mean, if you boil it down, on the manufacturing side, like in our world for metal, there's only 2 major paint manufacturers in the United States.
Right.
And it comes back to that. Like, at the end of the day, it all comes off of them one way or another, but it's a matter of how it's packaged.
How it's packaged, how it's sold, how do you service it?
Yep.
You know, it's the person behind it. It's the relationship behind the battery, or behind the roofing materials, what counts.
Exactly, because at the end of the day, they're not buying the roof because it's sexy.
Right.
They're buying, in your world, they're not buying that house because, I mean, in that realm, they're buying it because it fits a need. But they could go to any agent in town. The service that they're getting is what makes all the difference.
Yes.
And the way that they feel about that experience is what makes all the difference. And that's probably, I assume that you learned that in the battery business first.
Absolutely. We and Dad always ran it close to the bone. You know, like it would be like me and another guy, and I would have to get all my work done because. Before the door even opened, because when the door opened, I'm waiting on customers.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't know if he was testing me or what, but I learned there's no time better than now to get shit done. You got to hustle, get it done, and always that way you can spend time with where your money's coming from, your customer. So I'm hustling, getting all the warehouse stuff done, so I can focus on the customer, answering phones.
So it sounds like you built a pretty good work ethic for you, man.
Oh, dude, it was everything. Yep.
Because that's always interesting. Like, you know, you see like 2 ways when it comes to like somebody coming from a family business. Either they become very complacent and lazy, or they have the work ethic of a freaking mule.
Yep.
And they just don't have a quit.
That's it.
Right? Like, I grew up in the siding trades with my dad. He was a contractor around town, and we would do the installs, and like I remember hoofing boxes because I was a fat kid. Like I always got to freaking do the grunt work, like the hard stuff, man. But like it built my work ethic. Like I didn't have a silver spoon, man.
That's right.
Like, and I think that your dad probably, you know, I'm sure that they were successful in a lot of rights.
Yeah.
But it sounds like he saw that and said, you know what, man, I could give Pete all this stuff, but the stuff isn't what makes a man.
That's right.
The work ethic and the desire and the burning desire you have today is what makes the man.
Yeah.
So kudos to your pops for doing that, man.
Yeah.
Like seriously, because he could have just said, you know what, the boy can have anything he wants, all the 4-wheelers, all the you know, because I'm sure the money was probably there.
Yeah.
It sounds like.
And we had a good life. You know, we were spoiled to an extent.
Yeah.
But there was
as all kids should be.
It was still built into the work. You still have to work.
You got
hard.
rewarded.
That's the #1 sentence on our logo. Work hard, never give up, and dream huge.
Yeah.
That's it.
It's all it is, man.
Yeah.
So how are you doing that with your boys today? You got 2 boys, right? If I remember right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and not only the boys, but like I said, we've got a young team of agents as well. So I'm trying to instill that in everybody. Dude, your inbox should be cleaned out at the end of every day. Simple stuff like that.
Don't have freaking
why leave stuff
messages.
hanging?
Yeah.
You know, every day should be reconciled.
And treat the opportunity with the same exact respect as you would for a $100,000 home over, just for lack of a better term, in Little Kentucky, as we love to call it here around Mansfield, 100%. As you would for $1 million home down over on the lake and up in Marblehead.
100%.
Right? Treat them with the same exact, because at the end of the day, a sale's a sale.
Yep.
Our guys do that. They get hung up on, oh, well, that's a crap hole house. Well, maybe it's a crap hole house they just bought and they have big visions for, that we can go in and help transform that. Right? instead of judging the book by its cover, which is something you got to beat out of people, man. Because inherently as humans, we're going to do it. Right? We're going to have our predispositions.
All of those little sales are adding up to your why.
Yes.
Everything that you do adds up to your why. Little, big, in between. So you got to tackle all of it with the same amount of effort and passion. Yeah.
Stop trying to worry about that big paycheck and start worrying about the little ones that add up to the big one.
Right.
Right? And sometimes those customers are more grateful than the big ones.
Right.
You know, you get more out of them. You have good relationships with them. They're going to be in a big house someday in your guys' world, right?
You guys can succeed together.
Yes, yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
No, that's really good, man. Like, we don't think about it that way because, like, even as entrepreneurs, like, we want the numbers, right? Like, well, and at the end of the day, revenue is vanity and profit sanity, right? So we have to keep that in the back of our mind. Like what you take home is what matters at the end of the day, man. Like, I can say that I'm a $10 million roofing company, but if my bottom line's worse than my freaking $2 million a year, there's a problem. There's an issue here.
It's not what you make, it's what you keep.
Exactly.
Yeah. So you got to fine tune everything. Like you said, you got to be a student of your books. You got to be a student of every piece. You have to be not a student, but a master of every piece of your small business.
At least have a hand in it.
Yes.
At least have a hand in it. If you've got a marketing person, like I've got Jen behind the cameras here, just because she's my marketing person and she does it through the week, right, doesn't mean that we don't need to have one-on-ones and be talking about what's going good, what's going bad, how we're spending dollars, stuff like that. As a business owner, you have to understand, you don't have to understand it at a finite level where you could go do their job.
Right.
But you have to understand it enough even to just digest it from I wouldn't even say 10,000 foot view, but from an ultralight, right? 1,000 foot view. Just enough that you don't need to micromanage and control them. Give them the free will.
Right.
Or empower them is a better term for that. But also, like, get real with it. You know, understand it enough to at least know where your dollars are going.
Yeah. And here's another thing why I think I continue to succeed is I'm cautious. I'm cautiously successful.
Yes.
I'm not like, oh, we're doing,
money.
I'm like, dude, I've had bad months. I've had bad years.
Yeah.
I said, so we're gonna take this all in stride
and make educated decisions.
We're gonna keep growing. We're gonna keep pushing forward, but it could all be gone tomorrow. I'm not trying to be like I'm the expert, know all, be all. A good entrepreneur just takes action and figure it out as they go.
I'm not sure where you're at in your faith or even if you listen to country music, but Cody Johnson said it best. He bought a 1,000-acre property in Texas that he wanted to live in the house, and he got in there and there was black mold everywhere. So they had to go in and do the remediation. He's a year later, so he's on a house trailer down by his pond, by one of his corrals, and he looked up at God and he's like, man, why the hell are you doing this to me? Why me? Like, I feel like I've done enough right.
Yeah.
And he said, the Lord answered back to him and said, what are you worried about? It's all mine anyways. And at the end of the day, if you have that mindset of like, I can't take it with me.
Right.
So like, I'm just going to take it by the day. And when bad shit happens, I'm just like, okay, that's fine. I'm okay. Like, a bad day doesn't mean a bad life. It's okay to have a bad day.
Yeah.
But I'm going to correct it tomorrow. My attitude isn't going to change because of this one day. My goals and my targets are still the same.
That's right.
Or my aspirations are still the same.
We have another saying that we go to. It's called welcoming new problems. New problems? Absolutely.
Love it.
Let's solve them.
Yep.
Problems are meant to be solved, not complained about.
Yep.
So good.
But bring me a solution. Don't come to me with problems. Come to me with solutions.
Yep. I get excited about new problems. Not stressed. I take stress and turn it into a challenge.
Exactly.
Right? You have to, or else we go nuts.
Yes. You're going to drive yourself crazy, man. You're just going to pick the scab and have a wound.
Yeah.
That's good stuff, man. Well, as we get to the end of the episode here, I kind of like to open up the last few minutes and just if there's anything you want to share, that you feel like could be a positive piece. I look at everything, so I talk a lot. When I get on stage or when I get in a room full of people, my goal is to change one life. Mm-hmm. So that's my goal with this podcast is for one of us to change one life.
Yeah, man.
So this is your opportunity to kind of say anything that you weren't able to say.
Yeah, we said it all, but I will recap. Camera 1, camera 2. Work hard, never give up, and dream huge. Let's see the guns, Dylan.
They ain't like Pete's, man. I don't know why you did me dirty like that, man.
That's it. And that's it. We keep it simple, keep pushing forward, keep growing, and succeed for yourself and your family. And keep helping people out. Stop selling and start helping.
That's right, baby.
Yeah.
I love that. If you have a servant's mindset, you can never go wrong.
Yeah.
You will never be burned
if
you have a servant's heart.
That's right.
I love that, man. Well, thank you again for coming on.
Thank you, Dylan. Appreciate it.
As always, guys, thank you for tuning in. If you got some value out of what was happening today, pay the fee, or don't be a host, share the show, as Andy Frisella says. We'd love to get this out to some more folks that want to hear it. And if you know anybody that would like to come on the podcast, they're more than welcome to have a sit down with us here. And as always, continue to ask yourself, what's your why?